Hey, welcome everybody to the Hit the Ropes podcast. It's your girl Delores, just a pink girl in my pink world, here on every social platform with my good brother J News. J News, what do you have to tell the good people?
Well, it is Sunday, May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody out there watching us here on the Hit the Ropes podcast. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday as we go about it and let you know about the week that was in professional wrestling. So as a matter of fact, without further ado, Dolores, let's get the train moving.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you already know. It is, I didn't say do that though. It is the Hit the Ropes podcast, and it's time for review. Do. Ooh. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start off with that bad man WWE. J News, do you want to discuss before we get into it some of the WWE news that happened this week? Did I lose J News? I lost J News. Jesus, Restream working for me, but not working for J News. That is a miracle in itself, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE had some firings this week. From Dakota Kai to Shayna Baszler to Braun Strowman to so much more. We saw a lot of people get fired this week from WWE. So, as far as I'm concerned, for those who are like, you got to stand up for something and nothing is right. I can understand that, and I have my beliefs and you have yours. For those who are like, Lord, you should never cover WWE again. Listen, there are bad people in the world everywhere. I cannot, I can separate people, okay? Is WWE handling practices not the best? No. Do they have good people who work on their roster? Yes. Do I watch for those people? Yes. Do I support those people? Yes. But does that mean that WWE in itself is just like horrible? No. You know what I'm saying? The analogy I pulled from deep down is you go to a job where you don't like the people and they don't like you, but you still go, right? So if that's okay for you to go to work for somebody you don't like just to earn money, and to sell your quote unquote morals to the side for that, don't judge me for watching WWE. Okay? They had some firings. Do I think everybody on that list shouldn't have been fired? No. But am I screaming that some of these people got fired? No. Some of these people had opportunities repeatedly and never stepped up to the plate to knock a home run. We've seen Trick do it. We've seen Roxanne do it. We've seen other people who had opportunities step up to the plate, knock a home run. So, am I crying about a lot of the people who lost their job? No, I don't think Shayna Baszler should have lost her job. Listen, when it comes to Braun Strowman and Dakota Kai, I'm a little iffy. Dakota gets injured a lot. Braun is Braun, and he's always going to be Braun. And who was it? Was it Booker T that said in that podcast that Braun wanted to know why he wasn't like on the WrestleMania book, and he was like, "Cause you suck."
No, that
I,
was Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman, yes. And so, if you have Paul Heyman saying that to you, you should know that your days are coming to an end. Hey, Francis.
Hey, friend. Um, quick bit, because I was having connection issues again because obviously Restream hates my guts. But I will say, anytime anyone loses a job, uh, due to a multitude of different things, it's always a sad thing to either hear and or read about. Um, so I feel for everybody who got released uh, because the fact that they're losing their jobs and their what I would think would be their main source of income. As per opportunities, you only get opportunities that are given to you. In a situation as to which we're talking about professional wrestling, because you can't necessarily create them yourself, because you have to adhere to whatever the booker and or the owner of that particular promotion is doing. Um, so with all that being said, hopefully everybody who did get released and or in Shotzi Blackheart's case, her contract is expiring and she won't be resigned. I hope that folks are able to rebound and make good decisions for their futures and things of that nature, and they're able to succeed wherever they go. Because at the end of the day, the professional wrestling industry is a large one, depending as to where people want to go and how they want to be used and utilized and viewed. You can then, you know, put your feelers out and see if people are interested. But if not, then just work your ass off and or recreate yourself and or you have options. So hopefully folks who got released and or whose contracts are expiring soon and won't be re-signed find some sort of success down the line. And yeah, it's not the end all be all at the end of the day when it comes to the WWE. Not anymore
Yeah.
anyway. So uh,
Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, I know I named some of the people, but off the main roster, Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman, Dakota Kai, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance were all released. And from NXT, we had Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Gallus, Jakar Jackson, Eddie Thorpe, uh, how you say it? Javier Bernal. See,
Javier,
that's
Javier Bernal.
Javier. Yeah, yeah. See, that's J News Spanish thing. That's not me. Oren Mensa, Riley Osborne were released. They have 30-day non competes. Main roster, I think, is 90 days. So, out of NXT, I'm not gonna say I cared about any of those people that were named. Uh, Out of main NXT, I think Shayna Baszler is the only one I really was like, oh man, because we just saw her in Bloodsport do really well, and I can say I can see a reason why Shayna Baszler is the only person that I can see out of all these cuts that I go, what was the reason? What was the reason? But I can see the reason for everybody else. So, and for everybody screaming online about WWE and we're not gonna watch them anymore because they did this and they did that. That's all well and good, but don't be shaming people who watch them. Okay, like I said before, you go to that job with that raggedy boss who you don't like and they don't like you, but you still clock in. You don't never stand up for yourself, so why stand up for somebody else? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go on with that. Also, this fake rumor about Alberto being fired, he is not being fired, ladies and gentlemen. Not yet. Okay, it's coming. It's got to come. Either they're gonna fire him politely or they're gonna just shut it down and he's just gonna be without a job. One or the other. Contract gonna run out something. Something's gonna happen. I don't think he is showing up. I Listen, if he shows up, I would be shocked. My mouth would be on the floor. Because he has done so much and he has talked so much trash even up until recently about Triple H and WWE that I don't think they can that he's not gonna make enough money for them to overlook all the things he said. So if you look for him to come back, I don't see it happening. Now Cody, he can talk smack. You know why? Because he's made the millions of dollars. CM Punk, millions of dollars. They knew the money that they could potentially make, but they made more than that. So at this point, I don't see it happening. And good riddance to him and everybody. All I said, Bertho. Listen, he comes out. If you ever seen him on CMLL, he comes out like he's like the crap. And
Yeah, don't do that. He's never come out on CMLL. He's a AAA guy.
I'm
Don't.
not Triple A, not CMLL. Sorry, Triple A. If you ever see him in Triple A, because I watch it every once in a while, only because Triple A, I don't understand a word that's going on, but the characters are enough for me. The characters are enough, and I actually believe that some of these women will be replaced, and especially NXT, with some of the women from Triple A because they have the. I'm trying not to use the word, but I'm gonna have to. They have the sex appeal and the athletics to do it. So I can see them replacing them. When you look uh not in the WWE as a whole, I know that over the past few firings of firings are part of the LGBTQIA plus community. I understand them being a lot of representation is being taken off the top company in wrestling. So, with that being said, WWE, we gonna go over. We still because uh, I am a WWE, AEW, any kind of wrestling fan, and so I watch it all. Ladies and gentlemen, Raw, King 66 Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Rhea Ripley defeat Roxanne by DQ. The Raw Raiders defeated the Judgment Day. Stephanie Valkyria defeated Ivy Nile. And Braun Breaker, alongside Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, defeated Sami Zayn by a referee's decision. J News, did you see this and what did you think?
By majority, I didn't actually catch Raw on Monday. I did my best to try to catch up during the week with the social media clips and things of that nature. Um, I didn't see anything that necessarily popped out at me, if I'm being honest. Outside of what the storyline they have going with Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins and stuff like that, I think that can turn into something that's specific and interesting. But outside of that, I don't know what the overall theme of the episode on Monday was, or what they were
It,
trying to do per se. So yeah.
I think they progressed the Seth Rollins faction. Also, I don't know if you saw the Sami Zayn promo where he was like, I thought you were trying to beat the bloodline, but instead you trying to be the bloodline by taking it, the
Mhm.
mastermind of it, and also making your own bloodline. And he's like, I thought you was just trying to save WWE. Instead, you were just jealous of these people. And so that was like the first time it was like, wait a minute, he is kind of doing like the shield, uh, like all these types of throwbacks of these groups. He's just kind of bloodline the rest of them. He's trying to do that. Also, the before the Stephanie Valkyria Ivy Nile match, we finally got Penta to acknowledge the Lucha Bros, and he said it out loud. And after he hit Chad Gable and was like, "This is for my brother, cause we are the Lucha Bros." And I was like, "Oh, so y'all getting back together? Oh, okay, it didn't take that long. It didn't take. I thought it was gonna give you about a end of the year. Y'all get back together in some storyline. Y'all like, we gonna happen soon." So Stephanie and Valkyria beat Ivy now. She beat the brakes off her, and that was a good match. The Royal Raiders defeating Judgment Day. It was shenanigan afoot. And in the end, uh, people had to come out and save the day. Roxanne and Rhea ended because Julia got involved. So and then once Julia got involved, EO came out, and then they stomped EO, and then Rhea had to try to climb in with one bad leg to help her. We also had the uh, impassioned promo from Pat McAfee. I don't know if you saw that clip of that, where he cussed his head off.
Unfortunately, I did see that promo. Um, I give Patrick a lot of slack because him and I went to the same university. But it's one of those things where there are moments when you can just say, "Hey, this was cringe," and the promo was cringe at the end of the day. Uh,
It started off cringe before he even spoke when he had to uh try to pull his. I'm trying to say it in a nice way that don't offend people. Uh, pull his pants down from his crotch area because they were so tight they had rolled up. That's the moment I was like, and he did that for a good minute or two before he even started talking. He was too busy trying to pull his pants, and I was like, "Sir, just get to the promo so we can get this over with." We already know you facing Gunther.
yeah, I'm not sure what the lead is here with what they're trying to do with Gunther post title reign. Um,
Could somebody get involved? Could somebody could come and help Pat, and it
I,
causes another match for Gunther?
I probably, but I don't know who at this point. Um, I know that Pat had a lot of fun doing the wrestling thing when he was down in NXT, and he did that storyline with Adam Cole that worked. Um,
He had a mainstream matchup on the, was it a WrestleMania or something like
did
that?
he? I don't remember. It's a lot of it is a blur nowadays. But like I said, because you asked about the promo, I thought that the promo was cringe and stuff like that. I wasn't necessarily a fan of it. He the way he delivered it just didn't even sound sincere, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it
What
is.
made it disingenuous, ladies and gentlemen, was Pat gets up. He first of all he's pulling his pants for like a good 2 minutes. Then he te- clears his throat. Then he's like, "I want to be remembered when I die as a man who gave to homeless people, LGBTQIA people, uh, he just went on and on. People who being discriminated against. I want to be like, it was almost like Cody Martin Luther King's speech at the beginning, but then it went to a different turn when he started cussing. And he was like, and I ride for my friends, okay? And you know what? This man right here, Michael Cole is over there looking as he's cussing a storm up with his hand over his face. And like, we should be doing this. And then he was like, Michael Cole, and I had to defend my friend, okay? I had to defend my friend. And I was like, so you really didn't have to, but you chose to. And I commend you for that. But I think he was trying to just hint that he had to do this. He had to face Gunther. And essentially it was like he was delivering his own eulogy before Gunther kills him. I mean, unalives him, sorry. And because he just kept saying, "Before I die, I want to tell people about it." And he just starts like giving his own eulogy to lead up to him saying he wants to face Gunther. And I'm like, if that's supposed to make me think you gonna win this match, I have no hope, just like you do. He's like, and after seeing that video, then he tried to mix it in with a little bit of Jay Uso. When Jay Uso said, after seeing my brother being injured, it made me into this dog. He tried to throw that in there too, and I was like, we don't went from Martin Luther King to you giving yourself a eulogy, then you trying to say you got a dog in you, then you tried to insult not Adam Pierce, the general manager, to you
Nick,
ask for this match.
Nick Aldis was on the show that.
Yeah, Nick Aldis. You insulted Nick Aldis, like, and then you get the match, which it was confusing. Because in the real world, who insults their boss and gets what they want? Because if that's the case, I would have went to my old job and cussed everybody out, but I did. But I would have cussed everybody out and got everything I wanted. That doesn't. They need to make some things a little bit more realistic. I would have been Nick. I would have been like, you don't get what you want. Not that I've talked it over. You don't get exactly what you want, but you get what you want on a bigger scale. Well, you can't fight him now, but you can fight him at the biggest stage. That doesn't make sense. And this hasn't had a good build. You choked him out on Monday. This Monday he's not here. Then well, this Monday they're probably not gonna do anything too much. And then Saturday is the match. That's not enough build. That's what irritates me about this the most. I enjoyed the show wrestling wise and some of the little quirks and stuff like Jay super kicking Logan Paul to only end up getting knocked out after talking to Sammy. He turned into that punch. And you heard that punch smack him dead in the face. Which anybody who's ever been punched, when you hear that clock together, either you gonna fall out or you gonna stand up and keep it going. And he strolled all on the ground. It kind of looked like Logan could have pulled that punch just a little bit lesser, but he gave his full force of punching that man in the face. I kind of enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the past few Raws or even the first Raw that we had on Netflix. It's just beginning to get a little bit more softer. So, and as you see, it's not as many matches. We had 4 matches, but we had a lot of promos. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next show, which is let's get us back behind the curtain. Get behind the curtain. There we go. There we go. Restream fight me today, J News. I don't know what I did to it. We're on NXT, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to get us over to NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, NXT. It was 783 on the 29th on the CW for the WWE North American title match. Ricky Saints defeated Lexis King. Sol Ruka defeated Carmen Petrovich. NXT Tag Team title match. Hank and Tank, which is Hank Waller and Tank Ledger, defeated Josh Briggs and Inamura. I never can pronounce his first name right. Yoshi. Listen, that's J News right there.
This is Yoshiki.
I pronounced it that way one time, and I was talking to somebody, and they was like, "I don't think that's how you pronounce that." And I was like, "I know his last name is Inamura."
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why you shouldn't listen to other people, ladies and gentlemen. Io Sky and Jordan Grace defeated Julia and Roxanne Perez. Did you see this, J News? And what did you think?
Uh, man. I saw the majority of the show. The Ricky Saints match was decent. You can tell that there's been a lot of improvement in the overall skill set brought to the ring by Lexis King. Um, so I think that that's something that should be commended as per what goes on over at the Performance Center. But I figured I mean, for folks who watch NXT enough, figured that Ricky Saints was going to win that match. Good title defense from good title defense from Sol Ruka against Carmen Petrovic. Carmen, um, I think this is like a sink or swim year for Carmen in WWE. I feel like she's been in the Performance Center long enough for her to be given a spotlight, and this storyline that they had her with Tahuti Miles, aka Ashante the Adonis, didn't necessarily go anywhere, and it didn't make her any more relevant on NXT TV. So I feel like they should be doing something different with her going forward. But decent in-ring stuff between her and Soul. It seems like they're building towards, or at least teasing, Zarya eventually getting a title shot versus Sol Ruka because she keeps staring at the Women's United States or North American Championship, should I say? I'm sorry. So we'll see how that goes. Even though I'm a big fan of them together, I guess eventually they'll split them up down the line. Hank and Tank, they're the tag team champs right now. Not my favorite tag team to watch necessarily, but they did call up Axiom to SmackDown, and we'll talk about that next. Them defeating Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be Inamura's last month with WWE. So from a Noah usage standpoint, I think we're going to see a lot of Inamura on TV until he leaves. He did a funny bit backstage with Ava. I think it was the week prior. So they're trying to show some of his character off, but it's I think it's too little, too late from that particular standpoint. And then the ladies did the thing at the end of the show. Io Sky doing what she does as champ, Jordan Grace being able to do what she does, and Julia. I'm not too sure how I feel about her on NXT as of yet. I know they've really spotlighted a lot of Stephanie. I know Julia had like a week or two off after she dropped the belt to Stephanie, but I'm not. I don't. Something with Julia's character on NXT TV is just not jiving with me. And Roxanne is Roxanne at the end of the day. So give
I
Roxanne.
think it's I think it's for me because I watch Julia in different places. She has a way of talking even when you don't really quite understand or emoting where it's like you feel this type of energy where it's like almost kind of like you remember back in the day. I don't forgot who. It could have been Brock. When it's like Brock is gonna unalive you. We know the word. Uh and he would just be standing in the ring, not saying anything. And that is what will be said. I think she had that kind of look, that kind of energy where it's like you were scared of her. And they've kind of softened her and they putting her with Roxanne, which is kind of supposed to guide Roxanne, but it's like it's taking down Julia in the midst of it. I want Julia to be that menacing person that you see from afar. It's like Jacob Fatu. If you see him in a dark alley, you don't want to mess with him. I used to feel like if I saw Julia in a dark alley, I need to go the other way. Okay. Listen, I'm down for a fight, but not that one. Okay. I'll skip that one. She ain't got to worry about getting me a 2-piece and a biscuit. We can just go ahead and go. If you want to take my money, I'm gonna take it out of my pocket and give it to you. But that's not. She don't feel that way anymore. I can see her in the dark alley, and I'm like, okay, let's go. We got that action. Cause it's the way she looks and come across on TV doesn't feel the same. And now when they don't put her with Roxanne, it really doesn't feel the same. And so I think in trying to help Roxanne, they are taking a little bit of Julia down. So they need to separate. And eventually they might separate and might fight each other. You know that moment where in the match where a miss move, so she might kick her in the face. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how they end up breaking up. But overall the show, I like the first and the last match. The other two matches I could have did without a lot of the promo segments and stuff. I could have did without video packages. WWE, I'm enjoying some of your video packages, but some of them are a little bit too much. Okay, like I'd be like wondering why are we doing all of this? Hey, the educated natural, how you doing? How you doing? We're gonna be talking about 10 in a minute, ladies and gentlemen, because if you don't know, I already got my tickets. Okay, I got my ticket. So we'll talk about that a little later on. But, ladies and gentlemen, trying to get there we go. Me and J News, we're gonna go behind the curtain. We're gonna fade on back. So the next show coming up was J News. I already mentioned it is SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. SmackDown 1341 on the 2nd, which was Friday, on USA Network. We had Damian Priest and LA Knight ending the no contest. We had Fraxium from NXT get called up. Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeat Pretty Deadly. Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. Aleister Black defeated The Miz. Zelina Vega defeated Piper Niven. We had Ray Phoenix defeat Santos Escobar. We had Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. Because you know what? It's Tippy time. Defeat Naomi and Nia Jax. J News, did you see this and what did you think?
Uh, so the Damian Priest versus LA Knight match went to a no contest because there was some interference involved there. I believe Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre were involved in some sort of uh, extent there. And Nick Aldis eventually made a four-way match for Backlash between LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and Jacob Fatu. So that came out of that. Uh, nice seeing Fraxium on the call up, defeating Pretty Deadly, even though I think by mistake it was an accident. I think Nathan Frazier injured Elton Prince during the pin because he busted him open.
Yeah, that's the thing that's been going on for a minute. Am I echoing? That's the thing that's been going on for a minute.
So
Fraxium has had a lot of matches where people get injured, including themselves. And it's happened a lot. And that's why I didn't think they were going to get called up as soon as they did, even though they dropped the championships and stuff, is because they've had good, okay matches. But somebody always ends up getting hurt out of it. And so that's what kind of made me think maybe they'll keep them down there to kind of like hone and kind of stop some of that stuff. But I enjoyed the match up until the moment I was like, oh, dog, somebody else got hurt. And I was like, okay.
yeah, I wasn't necessary. That didn't come to mind, and I wasn't aware that that was happening. But um, we'll see. Hopefully, that stuff like that doesn't happen going forward. So far for me, even though I've been an advocate and a fan of Aleister Black, aka Malachi Black, aka Tommy End, for years, um, the way that he's been reincorporated into the WWE world has not hit me as of yet, and it has more to do with him being involved with the Miz than having to do with Aleister Black himself. Just because I'm not a fan of the Miz. Um,
It's the Miz, the Cody Rhodes of AEW. You remember when everybody came in and they were always fighting Cody the first time? Like Cody
yeah,
was the first person they contact with. Is Miz that person?
but Cody's important.
But I'm saying the Miz is his character because he's really good at selling. Is the Miz the person that you immediately face when you first come in
He
to
shouldn't be the
WWE?
gatekeeper. He shouldn't be. I
Because
understand why he is. Don't get me wrong. I
yeah,
understand why he is, but he shouldn't be.
yeah, because it seems like you initially start off facing him and then you go into some other things and you kind of just build up from there. I can also tell somebody when somebody's about to fall off because they'll start off facing like Cody or Seth or something, and then months later they're like in a feud with the Miz. Right before was it Killer Kelly, not Kelly, Killer Cross got fired. He had a thing with the Miz, and I was like, oh, well, he don't feel mighty far. And then as soon as I said that, it was like he was gone. And I was like, at a certain point, I can tell when somebody's getting the intro into it and somebody getting the exit out of it.
Yeah, the argument on um, on the online space and on the internet and stuff like that about the Miz and how people should be giving him more credit for being such a tenured superstar in the WWE and things of that nature. Folks can have that argument all they want. Um, from a preference standpoint, I've always just found him annoying, and I understand that that's the character,
Yeah,
but it's a turnoff more than it is me wanting to boo him. I turn my TV off when he's on TV.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
Um,
he's mighty annoying. I think they choose him because
He's
for
no,
him.
they trust him. Don't get me wrong. I understand they trust
Not just trust or tenure, it's also he's really good at selling getting his butt kicked. I mean,
him.
like
Yes.
Alistair Black kicked him and he went stiff like on the ground.
Yeah, but mind you, Alistair missed the kick. He hit him in the freaking.
No, I'm talking about like
arm.
the initial kick that he had when he came back that
No, no, no.
first.
Yeah, he missed the kick. He hit him.
Yeah,
He hit the Miz in the armpit, and
yeah,
yeah, the Miz sold it because the camera angle was off. But
yeah,
for people who were in the arena, they were like, "Yeah, he hit him in the armpit, and he still went down." Like we understand that the Miz. I understand that the Miz sells well, but at the end of the day, it's got to be just. It's got to be due to, appropriate interaction. At the end of the day, don't just sell for the sake of selling it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. He
Um,
say he's a good seller and he also has like Hollywood kind of like people get along. He does a lot of He's turned into Titus. He does a
I
lot of WWE charity work and all the rest of that. So that's why they keep giving him like these intros. Like he comes back every so often, and it's always to either somebody is in beginning in the company and that's their first little thing, or somebody they about to kick out. They giving them a last chance to go against the Miz, and even with that killer match, I was like, why is it not looking good? Why does it seem bad? And then that's when I told somebody I was like, I don't know if this was a match for him to just see if he was going to do good. And I think by then he was disinterested.
there for me, it made more sense. It would make more sense what they're doing now. What it seems to be that Aleister Black's gonna start facing off with Carmelo Hayes, and I
Yeah,
can appreciate Alistair, Tommy Malachi, whatever you want to call him, working with the younger talent uh, because he's a seasoned vet himself, and he can, depending as to how you want to spotlight the younger talent, um, you can definitely do something different, especially with how unique of a character Aleister Black is. I think that would benefit more of the younger talent, and they should have just started there instead of shoehorning the Miz into all this stuff. But yeah,
I also think he's in a better headspace because if you ever seen him, especially on his wife's podcast and her live streams,
mm,
he seems uncomfortable. The past few weeks since he's been back, he's been like, let me tell y'all about it. Like he's been excited. And I've been like, this is a whole different person that I've been seeing who seemed like he was a hostage in the video. He seemed very excited, very happy because Zelina had a live stream for her winning the championship
mhm.
and she had a good old time. But he came in, talked, had was interactive with the people in the chat. That was unlike us to see that. And I was like, okay, well then you must be happier and just okay. If he's okay with this and working with younger talent, that's well and good. If he eventually wants to move up, that's all well and great. Was it on this show on Monday that we had that really good uh Miro package, Rusev package? I think it might have been Monday. We
Oh
had a
yeah,
good
because Rusev is on Raw
yeah.
and whatnot. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, everybody, uh, be it Alistair, be it Rusev and stuff, I hope that they're happy with what their positions are, and what their roles are with WWE. Don't get me wrong. I just like I said before, it's got less to do with him and more to do with the Miz as to why I'm not a big fan of how what his return has been. But
Yeah.
hopefully, the future just
I think he's
brings
gonna eventually be like
better stuff.
slowly phased out. He's just gonna be like the person. Cause you remember back in the day, uh, not Nia Jax. Okay, my brain lately has just been scrambled. That's why I need help. Um, uh, not Nia. It used to be Nia, Naomi, and the third girl. I don't forgot her name. She's the one who gives the Usos the delays.
Tamina?
Yes.
Okay.
You remember when Tamina used to have these matches where she would face new people? and like older vets, she was like eating pins and stuff.
Yeah,
But
she was.
yeah,
It was appropriate for her to be the gatekeeper because she was the outside of her and Natty, they were the most tenured girls there. Like I said, I understand why the Miz is in the position that
yeah,
he's in, but at the end of the day, um, it Alistair Black's return so far has fallen flat in the first 2 weeks to me because
yeah,
they put him with the Miz.
yeah.
But with the rest of
I
the
think
show,
Carmelo might be good because he could. Carmelo is he's verbally vicious on the mic. And so I can imagine all the weird stuff he's gonna say about Alistair before he eats a kick to the face.
we'll see how it goes down. But Mello can hoop, and so can Alistair Black, and hopefully they give us tremendous matches because um, they haven't really allowed Mello to do much on the mic as of yet. So maybe this particular upcoming confrontation with Alistair Black allows him to do that. But we had Zelina Vega defeat Piper Niven in a match here. Uh, the comedy that Chelsea Green brings to the WWE, I've always thought is pretty cool because that's her role. That's what she wants to do. And having the other ladies involved has been a breath of fresh air as well. So they're it seems like they're in mourning right now with them wearing all black.
Yeah,
And
that is hilarious. Seeing her walk in and them I was just like dying laughing. Also, if you haven't seen it, go check it out on Zelina's page. She had a Shawn Michaels moment. She got on a motorcycle on a photo shoot, naked, with her title wrapped around her chest.
say again, what happened?
She she did a Shawn Michaels. You remember Shawn Michaels posed naked with the title?
Who did
She
that?
did it. Zelina.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
No,
she did it.
the
She,
big thing that happened online this week after she won the championship was that she went to go visit her dad's memorial and stuff
she
like
did
that.
that too. She did that too. But she also did the thing, and she had the title wrapped around her chest. And she was naked on a motorcycle, and they were taking pictures. And so when
Okay,
huh,
okay.
that came before the memorial thing, because the memorial thing is what WWE did. She had like backstage of her taking pictures with the title, because that came after she did the live where she had the champions here playing as she raised the title above her head. So I was Jay was like, I'm gonna find it. It's on her page. I think either it's
No,
on her.
no, I'm sorry. I was looking at the text message from work and stuff like that. But yeah, I wasn't aware that happened. Usually stuff like that comes up on the timeline and shit like that. I
Yeah,
had no idea that
it
happened.
was on her. I saw it on her TikTok, and I think I saw it on her Instagram. So I was like, oh, okay, you doing the Shawn Michaels? I think I've seen two or three people do it, and I'm like, oh, okay. The Ray Phoenix Santos match, I kind of enjoyed, but I wish it could have gave me more. The Jade Cargill, Naomi, Naomi has expressed this week, maybe it's time for her to sit down, have some babies, do some things, and so I kind of understand and I could kind of could see where if you ever watched Total Divas, she was against having babies when Jimmy was like, let's do it. She's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I don't know what this is going. I think they even went into like a class one time to learn how having birth and things happen. She's like, that's it. I don't want to do this. And so that's been a running thing that she's just never wanted to have kids. And so I think secretly, not unkayfabe, is just truth. Jay Cargill is a mom. She probably was able to tell her experience and explain to her how she works as a mom and how she juggles, after having a baby, getting her body back, doing all those things like that. And now Naomi can feel a little bit more comfortable in saying, okay, well, this is an option. Because she mentioned that, I'm getting older. I'm older. I'm in the older range where it might not happen. And so I need to go ahead and get it done now. And so you see a lot of wrestlers, even Bianca has talked about it, being like, what happens? I want to know what happens. And they like, well, it takes almost a year. And she's like, at the time, she's like, my career is hot. I can't just sit on for a year and then expect to come back and everything be the same. But now you have people like Becky and Jade and some other people who are moms who have came back and worked it out, then you can talk to them and kind of bounce ideas off and figure out whether or not it's the best option for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that is the end of SmackDown and the end of WWE. We'll talk about them in a preview for next week for a watch along that I will be doing. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW Dynamite. We're going to say AEW Dynamite was on the 30th. It was 291. TBS HBO Max simulcast. We had the Elite, Kazuchika Okada, Matthew Jackson, and Nicholas Jackson, along with Ricochet defeat Kenny Omega, Kevin Knight, Mark Briscoe, and Mike Bailey. We had the Ops, Katsuri Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe defeat Miles Hawkins, Nick Camarato, and Rick Titus. For the AEW Women's World Title Eliminator match, Toni Storm defeated Miyu Yamashita. We had for the ROH World Title, Nick Wayne defeat Jay Lethal, and for the Owen Hart Foundation 2025 Men's Tournament Semifinal match, Adam Page defeated Kyle Fletcher. Jay News, did you see any of this, and what did you think?
Yeah, I caught Dynamite. I thought that the opening 8-man tag was great. It like most of the people that commented on it on the internet, it really did bring me back to those PWG days with all those crazy multi-man matches and the funny spots and things of that nature. It was just a good time in the arena and watching that match. So good match overall with the Elite and the baby faces that were Kenny Omega, Kevin Knight, Mark Briscoe, and Mike Bailey. The Ops had another quote unquote squash match. Everybody in the team looked good. They're continuing that feud with the Death Riders post match. And so, what is it? Claudio Castagnoli, quote unquote, injured Shibata. He did that same spot to Shibata that he did to Hook in weeks prior over the chair during that. So they're continuing that, and then obviously Samoa Joe having his one-on-one match with John Moxley at the Beach Break event coming in Chicago in 2 weeks. Samoa Joe cut a promo on Moxley post match, I believe. It was good to see Nick Camarato back in the ring after a prolonged injury hiatus. So it was nice to see him. It was interesting and coincidental for me to see Rhett Titus in the ring. He was mentioned during the week during a promo bit that included Kenny King and some other people. I'm forgetting everybody else that was involved, but Rhett Titus was mentioned during that particular promo bit. I think it was like on an MLW show or whatever. And it was just coincidental to see him on AEW TV. Toni Storm versus Mayu Yamashita, I thought was a good showcase match for Mayu yet again. This is her third time working with AEW. And she definitely looked good against Toni. Toni ended up getting the win here, obviously, in this eliminator match. We're keeping Toni on TV as long as the Owen tournament continues to come to its end, just to make sure that she stays relevant. Nick Wayne versus Jay Lethal was a solid match. Hadn't seen Jay Lethal wrestle in quite some time. I'm glad Jay Lethal still looking sharp in the ring, and Nick Wayne starting to come into his own. So I appreciate that about what's happening with Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne's on his way to Japan for the Best of Super Junior tournament in about 10 days. So hopefully things are on the come up for Nick Wayne there. And then the semi-final Owen Hart match here between Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher was tremendous, as I figured that it would be. Adam Page being the main character of AEW TV never has not gotten old to me as of yet. even 6 years later, and Kyle Fletcher being one of their burning bright young stars on the roster, only to me meant that they were going to have a great match, and it was going to there was going to be a lot of physicality, and there was also going to be a lot of um, in ring character building between the two, and there was definitely a lot of that. So now we know what the finals are set out to be for the Owen Hart Foundation finals. Is going to be Adam Page versus Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing, and that's going to go down the way it's going to go down. And then Kyle Fletcher, I believe, cut a post-show promo, him trying to find some answers and refocusing his goals. So we'll see as to where Kyle Fletcher goes after this loss to Adam Page. But all in all, solid show. Another good Dynamite. Months now of good Dynamite episodes and stuff like that. So Dynamite starting off the year very strong for AEW.
Yes, and I'm gonna talk about a match that Mayu the master was in that I really like with my girl. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, me and J News we're gonna fly back to the back, and we're gonna go to the next show, which is from ROH, ladies and gentlemen, Ring of Honor Club 114 on the 1st. You can catch it on Ring of Honor Wrestling.com or their app. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Mina Shirakawa defeat Leela Gray. Johnny TV and MXM Collection, Mansoor and Mason defeat Alan Russell, Cameron Russell, and Rosario Grillo. For the ROH Women's World Title match, we had Red Velvet defeat La Catalina. CJ News should be proud of me. The frat house of Cole Carter and Griff Garrison defeated Spanish Announce Project, Angelico, and Serpentico. Okay? J News, did you see any of this or any clips or
I saw the clips for everything that happened on ROH this week. I was glad to see that Mina was finally being used after she officially left Japan. Layla Gray looked good in the match as well. So good work for the ladies there. Johnny TV and the MXM Collection boys, they are hilarious to me whenever they're in the ring, and coincidentally, they're also great in ring guys as well. So they put on a good match with younger talent here in the Russell brothers and Rosario Grillo. They pulled off this one particular spot during the match, which I did not see coming, but it was quite inventive and quite innovative. So it has been an interesting team up between Johnny TV and MXM Collection, but they're definitely doing what they need to do in order to impress and stand out on ROH. The women's television title match, I thought could have gone a different way, but it seems like they're really leaning into, well, not seems, but they really have been leaning into Red Velvet coming off as a big time heel, and it has been working. I thought La Catalina put up a really good fight in her match here. She earned her title shot and things of that nature, but Red Velvet was able to get away with a win, and not necessarily, she didn't win definitively in that match. So it feels like they're going to continue to build on their feud between the two of them. And I've never necessarily been invested in Cole Carter and Griff Garrison. So
never?
I don't know much about how they're looking, what their outlook is on ROH. I'm just happy to see the homie Angelico back on TV for a second week in a row. The Spanish announce team back in action on ROH. But yeah, there's that.
Is La Catalina signed to AEW?
She is signed to CMLL.
Okay, so that's initially because that's what I thought. I was like, well, if she's still signed to CMLL, they're just not gonna do it. But the match was so good, it made me believe that she should have won.
Yep.
I just was like, dog. As far
Yeah.
as the frat house, they seem like they ain't grown. Now this is a WWE moment where you need to cut the cord, okay? Because it seems like they have not grown whatsoever. We've seen Griff been tagged with Lexus. He's been with not Sky Blue, but House of Black.
Julia Hart was a part of
Julia.
their group. Yeah.
Yeah, Julia, she's grown. It just seems like everybody around them have grown and found some character, a character, many characters. He is just stuck being this
Yeah, he
very
hasn't,
sarcastic frat boy character, and it's annoying.
like you said, Dolores, he hasn't really grown much. I think the only time I was invested in Griff Garrison was when he was on BTE, and they were just making fun of the fact that people didn't know who he was. Like that was the only time I
That's
was
a shame because I laughed at that too. That and listen, if I could go back in time, I would tell them please not let Warlow speak and just let him keep eating food because that's the only thing that me and 90 million other women turned in there just feeling slow motion eat, and us that's all we cared about. But once he started talking and he had three moves and he would talk, I was like, "Sir, go back to BTE. I don't want to see you no more. I don't want to see you at all." And I
yeah.
was like so mad because I'm like, Griff, even during that feud he had back when they had the Friday show, not the Friday show, yeah,
Rampage. Yeah.
Rampage. They was supposed to be feuding him and Lexus.
Hmm.
I was like, this is your chance to get up because Lexus was like really going in on him, even in the promos. And Griff was just like,
Yeah, he didn't have much to come back from. I feel like, and I agree with what certain folks say. And I think you said this before, also, Dolores, where there's certain talent in the wrestling business who would definitely benefit from going to a place like the Performance Center and stuff like that. And I feel like Griff Garrison would be one of those people. Now, at the end of the day, it would be up to the WWE to sign somebody like Griff Garrison, but and I'm not sure if there's any interest there, but I think it would definitely benefit Griff Garrison to go to a place like the Performance Center and iron out the kinks and work on a character and things of that nature, if given the opportunity to do so, because AEW is not the land for that. um, I think he'd be better suited in a system like that to help him progress in his wrestling career. And if not, he could definitely, hopefully, grow his mindset and find an alternative route of how to evolve himself as a character and as a performer in the wrestling industry. But that comes with time and that comes with maturity and things of that nature. And maybe he's just not there yet.
because even you see I would say because I'm gonna talk about it later on. Fuego del Sol. He's an evil guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fuego did it on his own.
Yeah. And so it's like you see people like that
Yeah,
growing, and you look around and you're like, well, why are you still stuck in the same place? Why you cannot let this frat guy character go? You was a cheerleader, now you're a frat guy. That's all got to do with college. Have you not figured out how to leave college and be your own man?
he's got to tap into something different. And sometimes if you don't, uh, this comes from a creative standpoint, right? If you don't live enough life, right? If things don't happen to you, right? You don't get yourself in certain situations. You don't necessarily know how to be creative enough to get yourself out of them, and or be able to tell someone how, or give someone a piece of advice based on your life experiences, right? So I don't feel like, and this is just from and I'm projecting here. I'm assuming here. I feel like maybe he hasn't lived enough life to tap into anything for him to have a different perspective, to give himself a different look, a different character, or tap into something that would allow him to jump off the screen,
Yeah.
like other wrestlers do.
I
So
think maybe if he went to GCW and had some experiences, maybe that might help.
I don't think feeding him to a pack of wolves is a good idea, but hey,
I
um,
think if you fed him to Joey or Effie,
nah,
Joey or Effie, they would help.
nah.
Because if you ever notice now, Joey gets like he's wrestled some of these older wrestlers and stuff like that, like Two Cold Scorpio
Mhm.
and like Sabu and stuff. He gets really emotional
Yeah,
because
because he
he really
He grew
That's
up with
what
Losers.
yeah, he grew up with them,
Yeah,
but he wants to. He seems concerned when they're actually hurt.
yeah.
Joey's turned a new leaf. I don't know if it's Megan that's helping him, but he's turned a new leaf where now it seems like what Joey used to have this attitude, and he said publicly, like Darby has. I don't give a whatever happens to me happens to me. He has kind of toned that back.
Yeah, and
Still wild. I mean, he got one tooth missing. He's still having a wild time, but he has toned it back where he's like, I think a couple of months ago, wasn't he like at a not a couple of months, like a year ago, wasn't he like at a bar fight I saw on like a on his Instagram or something, where he put up to this bar, got wild wasted, and started fighting in the bar. And I was looking at him like, Joey, you can't live your life like this.
I don't
And
know.
then once he went to GCW and he just was like, they have made him they've kind of put Effie and Joey to kind of control things. And that the moment you let Joey control things, and you would think it would go haywire, it has not. And I think he's done. He's grown and matured and realized I can be the bad boy character without being the bad boy.
Yeah, because sometimes if you give somebody enough responsibility, their perspective does start to shift. But that doesn't happen to everybody. But
Yeah,
I'm glad that you're breaking that down to me because I wasn't necessarily aware of that. Okay, I mean maybe Griff can definitely. I think he can grow as a professional wrestler by doing more indie dates. I don't necessarily know if he does that or not
yeah,
outside of his ROH or AEW work. At this point, he just, he's a big kid. He's a good looking kid, but at the end of the day, nothing really stands out about him. And
yeah.
I
I think
feel
a
like
lot of
that needs to
people
change.
have went to GCW and their characters and their lives have kind of changed where they become on the radar of these big companies. And I think that's what works out the best for Griff is if he went to a where he had enough opportunity to become a little bit more more a little rough around the edges. Because the way Fuego, what I'm gonna talk about, acted yesterday, I would have never started. I would have never saw it coming. And I actually enjoyed it because I was like, now some of the facial expressions I could have did without. But overall, it was a different character. He played it well, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna fade to the back. Me and J News, we're going back. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going on to the next show from AEW. It's AEW Collision. It was on yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. We have the AEW Women's World Title Eliminator match. Toni Storm defeated Lady Frost by referee's decision. We had the was it $100,000. Every time he has a match like this, I laugh because I'm like, you really ain't gonna get this money if you win. Dollar prize high speed collision 4-way match. Sammy Guevara, shot, defeated AR Fox, Kevin Knight, and Roosh. Megan Bain defeated Harley Cameron. Brody King versus Josh Alexander ended in a time limit draw, which, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, depends on the company, but it's 15 minutes here. Daniel Garcia defeated Max Caster in less than a minute. Daniel Gates of Agony, Bishop Kong and Toa Leona defeated Goldie and Ray Jazz. The best 2 out of 3 falls tag team match. FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood, along with Stokely, defeated Paragon of Kyle Fletcher and Roderick Strong 2-1. Paragon got uh, the first pin on FTR. FTR then beat Paragon 2 pins in a row. J News, did you see this and what did you think about it?
Yes, I did watch Collision last night. I thought that the women's eliminator match was really fun to watch. Tony Storm versus Lady Frost. I've actually been a longtime fan of Lady Frost. I feel like um, her work lately in Mexico has been really, really good with her entire Valkyrie. I remember her as a TNA knockout and things of that nature. She's always been super talented. I just hope that she would be getting more opportunities and chances on AEW TV, not ROH TV necessarily, but she does what she can, and she had a good match against Tony. Tony post match had one of her usual off the cuff promos that just worked, and excited the crowd. So shouts to Tony Storm for still being one of the best characters on wrestling television. Um, I didn't see the result coming of this $100,000 match. I honestly thought that they would probably give the nod to Roosh or AR Fox in this situation, being that Kevin Knight already won $100,000. I didn't know that they were going to go the Sammy Guevara route. Sammy Guevara, uh, in my personal
You know
opinion,
his friend was gonna let him get on TV and win.
huh?
You know his friend was gonna let him get on TV and win.
Who
His
for?
friend, his friend meaning Tony Khan. It's a big thing that him and Tony are tight like glue.
I wasn't aware of that just because Sammy had been on ROH for a long period of time and he seemed to have gotten himself into the doghouse. Um, so that's one thing. Secondarily, I was what I was going to say about Sammy Guevara is Sammy Guevara to me is in this. He fits the same mold as the Miz to me from a character standpoint, where I just don't really give a damn about him because they're annoying. A lot of people. He's just never hit for me. And then secondarily, a lot of people, he's a great in ring talent. He does all these crazy spots. He does crazy spots, but he's sloppy. And I will
Yeah.
say that outright. And yes, no, I've never wrestled a day in my freaking life, but I know what clean looks like, and I know what sloppy looks like. And that young man is a sloppy wrestler.
You supposed to jump on 5 people off the top or something. I'm thinking about that time he jumped off the Titantron. And you supposed to land where they catch you. Why is your back and butt on the ground and your arms
He
are
overshot it.
longer
He
than one person?
overshot the spot. He either overshoots something. He puts his body into awkward positions when when it's time for setups and things of that nature. This is why a lot of the guys, a lot of the flippy guys as they call them, right?
Yeah.
Why a lot of that stuff looks choreographed and clean is because it's for the safety of everybody else. So that shit
Yeah,
doesn't
I
run.
shouldn't be sitting there looking at the cameraman pointing at you while you stand up there and throw your arms out, pray, get a kiss to God, then want to flip. We already know what's gonna happen by then.
Yeah, man.
We
Like this,
already know.
the setup. I've just never been a fan of the kid, so I'll put that there.
Listen, I've been more excited to see Shane McMahon let go and fall on the ground from that high Titantron than did seeing Sammy flip off and miss that spot. It was like he stood there, then he turned around, planted his feet, made sure he got some crowd noise, and then did it. Where it's like I've seen Shane McMahon. Oh, he's a wrestler, but he's not a wrestler. Just jump, just leap, just and the man admitted he was scared of heights. Just leap off and just hope for the best. You should have did that, and you know better.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's troubling for me to watch him perform at times, and I get it. To as a and I'm not talking about the kid as a human being or anything like that. Just from a sheer wrestling perspective, a lot of the times a lot of his spots look sloppy and shit just doesn't look the way it's supposed to, and he does put people in harm's way at times, and I'm just not a fan of that. And then secondarily from a character standpoint, shit just hasn't hit. Megan Payne.
You know what it was is that they after the incident with his ex fiance Tony pause. I want to say pause if I said this. Try to ride him down our throats. Okay. And every time we turned around, he was there. He was doing some stupid stunt. He was there. He was in Jericho. He was there. He had a storyline. He was there. He was there. He was there. Then it was him and Tay Conti all down our throats. Every time I look on TV, they were there. They were making out. They were flipping it. And I kept looking at them and thinking to myself, first of all, Sammy, your YouTube set up the conversation that end up being between you and your wife. Okay, you and your wife are flirting on the episode after you got on TV and asked your ex fiance to marry you. make it make sense. Okay? So then you got this back chatter where women are now saying you're a cheater. Then you got men looking at you like you weird because you can't do the moves the correct way. So you are just turned the audience off, but Tony just kept going. And at a certain point, just like with Jericho, I've said online, what do you have on this man that makes you keep just putting him out here? Like, what does he have on you? Because it has to be something. Because you keep putting him out here, even though the crowd, the people, the fans, you are a chat person because you used to be just like us in the chats and the different things. You see that we don't like him, pull him away from us for a little bit and then bring him back. But instead, you just kept going. And
No,
then
but
it
he
turned,
he he did do that. He did pull
yeah, but
Sammy
we
off
went
the
through like
company.
almost 2 years of him doing it. Tay Conti got pregnant, and that was around the time when he left for her the baby to be born. That's when he pulled him back and put him in ROH. But by
Yeah,
then, it's like
it
we
was
have
nice.
dealt with this long enough.
It was necessary, and I know he's been working with Dustin for the last year or so with this whole Sons of Texas thing, and I know Dustin is very revered in the AEW locker room and things of that nature, as he should be. And he's looked upon for wisdom and all that stuff or whatever. And pairing him with Dustin was a conscious choice from TK. Hopefully, Sammy Guevara has matured from an attitude standpoint and things of that nature, because he's also gotten himself in some trouble backstage with other wrestlers. Um,
It is.
and
And he
he's
tried
he's
to take the
he's been
taste out of him now.
yeah, so hopefully he's been able to grow with that stuff. But from a character standpoint, and that's where I land with wrestlers. It's more about what I see on TV. I don't get involved in their personal shit at the end of the day. It just hasn't hit for me. But to continue, the Megan Bain match with Harley Cameron was actually way more competitive than I thought it was going to be. So that was fun to watch Harley Cameron compete with Megan Bain. Definitely took some shots there against Megan Bain, where I believe that maybe Harley Cameron could pull this one out, but Megan Bain ended up winning out. Anna Jay came out post match to do a save for Harley Cameron because it seemed like Megan Bain and Penelope Ford were going to beat up Harley Cameron post match. Anna Jay came out with a 2x4 to hit, and she hit Megan Bain with the 2x4, but it didn't do any damage to Megan Bain. It just pissed her off a little bit more.
No.
And Megan eventually got taken out of the ring by Penelope. So we're probably going to see a tag match with Harley and Anna Jay against Megan Bain and Penelope Ford sooner rather than later. I was hoping that they were going to bring Sammy Guevara's wife, Tay Mello, back to team with Anna Jay, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we'll see
I
how that.
thought, have they just had another baby or is she
No,
pregnant?
it's just the one. She's not pregnant again, from what I know.
I thought she was pregnant again or something happened or something. Because I
Yeah,
know
because
they did some type of
she
video.
wrestled in January, and she wrestled at the Tokyo Dome. So I thought she was going to be on her way back to AEW, and nothing's come from it. So there's that. But then the next match of Brody King versus Josh Alexander, it started really slow, but then it did pick up. It got to where I needed it to get to from my own personal views and tastes. And ending in a time limit draw only convinces me that it seems like the likes of Brody King and Josh Alexander will sometime down the road in the immediate future be challenging Adam Cole for a shot at the TNT Championship, being that this particular match ended in a time limit draw. So they probably have Josh Alexander and Brody King will probably have a series of matches, and then I guess my assumption is whoever wins from that goes on to face Adam Cole for that TNT title, being that this match ended up in a time limit draw. DG defeating Max Caster was quick. Max continuing his whole bit with his open challenge and being the best wrestler alive. They're now giving Daniel Garcia something to do outside of this, which coincides with the last match of the evening. The Gates of Agony had a squash match against two local enhancement talents and things of that nature. They dominated there, and then they are now in a feud, it seems, with Big Bill and oh my God, and the Bounty Hunter Brian Keith. They battled each other backstage in the parking lot and things of that nature, and that broke down into a Donnybrook. So essentially, they'll probably have a match coming up on Dynamite Collision, and then the best 2 out of 3 falls match uh, was really, really good, really, really strong, because these two tag teams, in my eyes, can't do any wrong. They're just great at what they do. But FTR continuing to be their dastardly heel selves here, not necessarily winning this in the best way possible, in the cleanest way possible, but the action and the stories being told inside the ring between these two tag teams were terrific. Daniel Garcia came out post match basically to challenge FTR, not as a tag team, but it seems like he'll be taking on FTR as individual wrestlers for the foreseeable future, to, I guess, get his lick back for all the wrongdoings that FTR has been doing to the people that have been around Danny Garcia, that being Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange, and then injuring them, and then also uh, you know
They should have got injured for being with Jericho a long time ago.
yeah, and yeah, I think they took out some whoever else was helping DG as well, but we'll probably see Daniel Garcia go 1-on-1 against Cash Wheeler and then Dax Hardwood, or whatever computation of that happens. But glad to see that they're going to keep Danny busy on TV for the foreseeable future.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going way back to the way back, because I'm going to tell you about TNA. We have a show and a television show and a pay per view to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to first start off with the television show. It was TNA Impact 1084 on the first on Access TV. Mike Santana defeated Isaiah Moore in a minute and 1 second. TNA X Division title match, Moose defeated Zachary Wentz. Maggie Lee defeated Jody Threat. Leon Slater defeated Casey Navarro. Frankie Kazarian and the Nemesis of Nick and Ryan Nemeth defeated Joe Hendry and the Hardys of Jeff and Matt Hardy. Did you see this television show, and what do you think?
I did not. I am not a TNA watcher. This is all you, Dolores.
Listen, I just want to say this was a poor setup. A poor setup for a pay-per-view show. Now, I don't know what they're doing, but I used to look forward to seeing their shows. Now I'm not happy. Okay? Listen, I had to watch this show twice, J News. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because what had happened was I went to sleep and woke up to guitar playing, which if you all know XSTV, it has all the guitar and like 90s bands and stuff. And tried to watch it again. And then by the time I got to the third time, I finished watching it. But then I was like, I wasted my time. I shouldn't even kept trying. I should have just left it alone. But ladies and gentlemen, we went on to the pay per view. No, not the pay per view. It was No, it wasn't. This is where it is. Why is it doing CML MLW? Okay, did Azteca first. Wait a minute. No, y'all shouldn't have did Azteca first. No, go back. Let's see. Where we go. There we go. As you see, I'm looking for it. It's probably in a different order, just not the way I want it to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I was up late last night. I know Jay News was like, why are you texting me this late at night? Jesus help us all. There we go. See? Skipped over too fast, Jay News. That's what it was. TNA Rebellion, ladies and gentlemen. Let me and Jay News go to the back so you all can see. We had Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix defeated Lee Ying Lee, Rosemary, and Zaya Brookside. We had Elijah defeat Shane Hayes. This was all in the TNA countdown. If you want to watch these shows, you can go to youtube.com, TNA, Total Nonstop Action. You'll find these on there. Then we had on the main show, TNA X Division Ultimate X match, Moose defeated El Hijo del Vikingo, Casey Navarro, Leon Slater, Matt Cardona, and Sidney Akeem. As you all know, smoking that Reggie. That's what we talk. His name used to be Reggie back in the day. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team title four-way match, Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance defeated Metaphor, Jakar Jackson, RIP, because she gone from NXT, and Lash Legends and Spitfire, Danny Luna and Jody Threat, and Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. We had Ace Austin and the Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz defeat the System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. We had for the TNA International title, Steve Macklin defeated Eric Young with Judas Icarus and Travis Williams. We had Count Anywhere match. Mike Santana defeated Mustafa Ali. I really appreciate that match. For those who don't know, that lady, after I say Masha Slamovich, I do not say her name. For the TNA Knockouts World title match, we had Masha Slamovich defeated TB, because she will make you sick. TNA World Tag Team title match, the Nemeth, Nick and Ryan Nemeth defeated the Hardys in a title change. Hardys consist of Matt and Jeff Hardy. TNA World Title three-way match, Joe Hendry defeated Ethan Page and Franklin Kazarian. Did you see any of this, J News? And what did you think?
No.
Okay, here come Delores. I overall did enjoy this. Okay, there were a lot of matches I did, but I did enjoy this overall. It was a lot of matches, which is slightly unusual for a TNA to cram this much in a show. But I did enjoy it. Um, I enjoyed the Mike Santana Mustafa Ali match the most out of all of it. So if I want to tell you all to catch something, that will be it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go on to this. J News gonna have to help me with this. CMLL.
Yeah, this is going to be the CMLL show with combined with MLW. Um, this was, I think, the second of these shows.
No, this is the first one. The second one we'll have a preview on.
Oh, okay. All right. So this the 2025 Azteca Lucha. This took place on May 2nd, which was just a few days ago. So the first match was a women's match, which had Reina Isis defeating Alejandra Quintanilla. We then had Donovan Dijak and Ikaru Kwan defeat Galleon Fantasma, which is Barbosa and Zanuck Jr. For the MLW World Tag Team title match, we had Los Depredadores, Magnus and Ruido defeat Cozy Max of Okamura and Satoshi Kojima. That was the title change, so we have new MLW World Tag Team Champions. We then had a one-on-one match between Neon and the wrestling legend that is Paul London, and that ended in a time limit draw. For the MLW National Openweight title match, we had Ultimo Guerrero defeat Matthew Justice in a title change. So Ultimo Guerrero is now the MLW National Openweight champion. And then in the main event, we had the legendary CMLL wrestler Mystico defeat the one and only Kushida.
I want to say, I don't know if you saw any of this, J News. I would suggest if you want to see some lucha libre, some not traditional wrestling, I think you should watch this on YouTube. It'll be on the MLW channel, Major League Wrestling. I mean, for them to put their pay-per-views on YouTube and it'd be free for you all, I love it. I ain't got to buy another app. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really enjoyed this, getting to see new people that I haven't seen before, people that I don't get to see on a regular basis. I really kind of enjoyed this. Also, the little storyline. That whole, they trying to bring back Lucha Underground, and they got Selena. Uh, they're just that she got pregnant. Then she found out that the man from Lucha Underground, I forgot his name. He is her daddy. She didn't know. She thought she was taking another just random man's company. Kind of found out it's just a lot. Okay, that part of that I don't like. But the wrestling, I can deal with. And if you watch it on YouTube, you can skip it. So that's the great thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go on to the next show, which is GCW. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite time is when I get to talk about GCW. And it was crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Max Warner defeat Jimmy Lloyd. Matt Cardona got involved. First of all, if I get into it, J News, did you see any of this?
No, no, I didn't.
Okay, so it was yesterday on Triller TV. I'm gonna go as I go along, tell you about the matches. Max Warner defeated Jimmy Lloyd with the help of Matt Cardona, who provided a screwdriver to the head of Jimmy Lloyd. You know, him and Jimmy Lloyd used to be together. They are not together no more. For the GCW World Tag Team Title Championships, Alex Price and the returning, as we learned during Mania weekend, Jordan Oliver defeated Subculture of Flash Morgan and Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews to retain their championships. For the JCW World Championship, the match I would suggest you go back and watch because it was a banger. We had JCW World Championship, Masha Slamovich. It kind of got sloppy at a certain point, but then they picked back up. It was Masha Slamovich defeating Jonathan Gresham to retain her JCW World Championship. We had Atticus Cougar, defeat Sam Stackhouse, Fuego del Sol, who was Sam Stackhouse's friend, is the one that helped facilitate that win. And he came out there and beat him to a bloody pulp. I mean, beat him with chairs, metal, wood chairs, broke the wood chairs, screwed him in the forehead, and proceeded to hold him like you hold a baby, J News, and rock him with a picture of him and Sam Stackhouse on his shirt. And the man was just bleeding all on the shirt. Now we know that Fuego del Sol is a heel. We had my second favorite match of the night, Mayu Yamashita defeating Maki Ito. I was sad because if you all do not know, my move for my intro is that I do the pink girl in pink world. That's Maki Ito's move, and I love her so much. If you all do not know, she's cute. She will cry sometimes, but she also comes out with a pizza cutter and she go across your forehead. Ladies and gentlemen, uh, we had Ninja Mac defeat Starboy Charlie. Okay, match. We had a three-way. Zara Zakir defeated Brittany Brooks and Vipers. Good match. GCW World Championship. Effie defeated Hammerstone to retain his GCW World Championship. That was a good match. GCW Ultraviolet Championship match. Matt Tremont defeated RS to retain his GCW Ultraviolet Championship. I think this show is something you should go back and watch. They had multiple good shows, so please go to Triller TV and check it out. Next up is J News with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we had Road to Wrestling Dontaku.
Yeah, this all took place on the 27th of April. We had Masatori Yasuda and Ryusuke Taguchi defeat Daiki Nagai and Katsuya Murashima. The United Empire members Francisco Akira and the Great Okan defeated El Phantasmo and Jado. Just four guys, Taichi and Taka Michinoku, along with Yuri Uemura and Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii, defeated Los Singo Banaba Zappo, Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yoda Tsuji. We got Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and Taiji Ishimori defeat House of Torture members Ren Rita, Sonata, Showa, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru via DQ. Then we had House of Torture members Evil, Renarita, Sonata, Show, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujo Takahashi, along with Dick Togo, defeat Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors. This was doubled. Because the first one ended a DQ, then they went ahead and then they restarted the match, I'm assuming. That was on 27th. Yeah, that's the way it broke down. Bebop Tag Team, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano, along with Master Wato, Oli Bolton, and Yo. Defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Koji Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Bishiman, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and El Desperado defeated United Empire members Callum Newman, Jacob Austin Young, and Templario. We then go on to Heizen no Kuni, which happened on the 29th of April. And then we have those matches. uh, a show that was on NewJapanWorld.com. Hiroshi Tanahashi went one-on-one against Masatori Yasuda. Um, we then had Katsuya Murashima, Ola Bolton, and Toriano versus TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Hold on one second, folks. That went down on the 22nd. I want to give you um, the correct results for all this. So there we go. Tanahashi won over Yasuda. We then had TMDK members Harley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Katsuya Murashima, Bolton Oleg, and Toriano. We then had a multi-man match here with members of Just Four Guys and other members of Hantai. It was Taka Michinoku, Taichi, Tomohiro Ishii, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura. They won that match where Yuya Uemura pinned Bushi from LIJ. The LIJ members in this match were LIJ's Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji. We then had another multi-man match here. It turned into a no contest. It was between members of the Bullet Club War Dogs, who were Ishimori, Clark Connors, Real Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and David Finley, up against members of the House of Torture, which were Kanemaru Sho, Sonata, Ren Narita, and Evil. We then had a 6-man tag team match, which had Bishiman members Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, along with Ryusuke Taguchi. They were defeated by members of the United Empire, Jacob Austin Young, Francisco Akira, and Callum Newman. Callum Newman got the pin over Ryusuke Taguchi. And then we had a special one-on-one match, which was for the NJPW World Television Championship, which had El Phantasmo, the challenger, go up against the Great Okan, at that time the champion. El Phantasmo beating the Great Okan and regaining his NJPW World Television Championship. So now El Phantasmo is TV champion. And then we had a tag match, which saw the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships on the line. The champions at the time were TMDK members Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, the Ichiban Sweet Boys, versus Master Wato and Yo. And in this match that went 22 minutes and 23 seconds, the challenging team of Master Wato and Yo beat the incumbent champions, making them I believe, the 103rd IWGP Junior Tag Team champions. So Master Wato and Yo, the new Junior Heavyweight Tag Team champions. We then had a special one-on-one match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. It was Templario of the United Empire versus El Desperado, the champion El Desperado, winning and defending his championship for the 5th time in about 20 minutes time, hitting the Pinche logo on Templario for the win. And that was the show for that, the Heizen no Kuni match and show. Continuing on to Road to Wrestling Dontaku, we had the show on the 30th. We had Katsuya Murashima defeating Daiki Nagai, Master Wato, Oleg Bolton, and Yo defeating TMDK's Harley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, and Robbie Eagles. TMDK members Ryohei Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr. in the tag team match defeated Bebop Tag Team of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toriano. House of Torture members Evil, Ren Narita, Sonata, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, David Finley, Jordan Maloney, Gabe Kidd, Gato, and Taiji Ishimori via DQ. Then they restarted the match yet again. We had or that one ended in a DQ. Sorry about that. And then we had another multi-man tag match. Los Cinco Bananas Apple, Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, Yota Tsuji defeated Just Four Guys, and Taichi, Taka Michinoku, Yuya Uemura, and Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii. And then we had Bishiman, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with El Phantasmo and Ryusuke Taguchi, along with Jado. They defeated the United Empire team of Callum Newman, Francisco Akira, Great Okan, and Jacob Austin Young. And that happened on the 30th of April. We then go on to the 1st of May. More Road to action. We had Daiki Nagai versus Masatori Yasuda, ended in a time limit draw. Bebop Tag Team of Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toriano, along with Master Wato and Oleg Bolton and Yo, defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, David Finley, Joe Maloney, Gabe Kidd, Gato, and Taiji Ishimori defeated House of Torture members Dick Togo, Evil, Ren Narita, Sonata, Sho, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. They did not defeat him and ended via DQ. This clusterfuck between Bullet Club War Dogs and House of Torture was just leading to their Dog Pound Steel Cage match, which happened on the 3rd, which will be a few days later. Tai Chi and Tomohiro Ishii, teaming for the first time in a very long time, defeated Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, and Tetsuya Naito. Los Ingobernables de Japón's members from Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji in a six-man tag defeated just four guys, Taka Michinoku and Yuya Uemura, along with Shota Umino. And then we have Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with Elfan and Ryosuke Taguchi, defeat United Empire members Callum Newman, Francisco Akira, the Great O'Connor, and Jacob Austin Young. And those were the matches on the first. Then we go on to the next set of matches, which is Wrestling Dontaku, the main two shows. It was a 2-day event. We then go on to May 3rd. We had the Young Lions starting off, Katsura Murashima defeating Daiki Nagai. We then had Master Wato, Oleg Bolton, Toriano, and Yo in a multi-man match defeat TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. Just four guys, Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku, and Yuya Uemura, along with Tomohiro Ishii, defeated Los Ingobernables de Japón, Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yota Tsuji. This was the night before the 4th, which is today, May 4th. May 4th being the last appearances for a while, at least for Tetsuya Naito and Bushi as members of the New Japan Pro Wrestling roster. Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi, along with Ryosuke Taguchi, defeated United Empire members Callum Newman, Great O'Connor, and Jacob Austin Young. For the NJPW World Television title, we had a match one-on-one. El Phantasmo, the champion, flanked by Jado, versus Konosuke Takeshita, who was being flanked by his team member in the Don Callis family, Rocky Romero. This ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. This was a tremendous match, folks. If I'm going to recommend you go out of your way to watch any of the matches from this night, it will be this particular match here of El Phantasmo versus Konosuke Takeshita. We then had the special one-on-one match as Hiroshi Tanahashi continues his road to retirement. It was Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi in a one-on-one match, one of the better matches I've seen Hiroshi Tanahashi have in the last several months. We then had another banger of a match, Shingo Takagi wrestling Pissed Off versus Shota Umino. And this match was hard-hitting. It was physical. I saw Shota Umino pull out a intensity and a fierceness about him that I have never seen. It seems like Shota Umino might be wanting to place himself amongst the BMFers in the New Japan Pro Wrestling locker room in that never open weight division. So hopefully they do guide Shota towards that and start to solidify him there, because he's really still in a state of limbo. But it was a terrific match between Shingo and Shota, so I would recommend folks to go out of your way to watch that as well. And then we had the main event of the night, which was the steel cage dog pound match. It was the Bullet Club War Dogs of Clark Connors, David Finlay, Drilla Maloney, and Gabe Kidd, along with Entaji Ishimori, flanked by Gato. They defeated the House of Torture of Evil, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who were flanked by Dick Togo and Yujiro Takahashi. This match was a bit more of a mess than the previous dog pound steel cage match. Not to say that the match was bad, but it wasn't great either. With the House of Torture losing this match, they are now officially kicked out of the Bullet Club. And during the match, there was a setup there where Evil ended up handcuffing David Finlay to the cage, and also I guess tying him up or buttoning him up with a dog collar and attempting to hang David Finlay. And post match, David Finlay challenged Evil to a dog collar match. So I'm assuming we're probably going to see that at Dominion.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the previews. And guess what? J News is about to start it up.
So yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling continues on this week. So we will be reviewing day 2 of Wrestling Dontaku for next week. So the matches that are slated for that already happened this morning, but it was some Japanese indie talent, Hitamaru Sasaki and Jet Wei, were to go into a tag team match versus Katsura Murashima and Ryosuke Taguchi. We then had Baton Blah Blah and Mentai Kid go up against Bullet Club War Dog members Gato and Taiji Ishimori. We then had Master Wato and Yoshihashi go up against United Empire members The Great Okan and Jacob Austin Young. Stars, the ladies from Stardom, Hazuki and Kaguma, along with Micah, went up against the Neo Genesis ladies of Azumi, Starlight Kid, along with Yuna Mizumori. El Phantasmo and Oleg Bolton went into a tag match against the Don Callis family members Konosuke Takeshi and Rocky Romero. Bebop tag team of Roshi Tanahashi and Toru Yano, along with Ryota Chikuzin and Tajiri and Yo. Faced off against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Jose Fujinarabe, Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Los Ingobernables de Japón, as we all know them to be. Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, for one last time, went up against Just Four Guys' Taichi, Taka Michinoku, along with Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii. We then had an IWGP Global Heavyweight title match that was announced. It's going to be Yota Tsuji one-on-one versus Yua Uemura. And then for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, we have Hiroki Goto, the champion, versus United Empire member Callum Newman.
Mute button fighting. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time. It's time for my favorite time. It is GCW time, ladies and gentlemen. They trying to hide. There we go. GCW time, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a show, and it's called We Still Don't Trust You. Okay? I don't care what you say or what you do, we still don't trust you. And We Still Don't Trust You is on the 4th, which is today. I have to watch this after I finish this other stuff. And it is Atticus Cougar versus Mr. Danger. Watch yourself. Mans Warner versus Alan Angels. The Bollywood Boys, Gerv and Harv Shearer versus the Midnight Heat of Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson. We have the GCW World title match, Effie versus Maki Ito. And for the JCW title match, Masha Slamovich versus Mayu Yamashita. Ladies and gentlemen, back to J News.
May. This will be taking part live from Ontario, California. The 9th, I believe, is this Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be on njpwworld.com pay-per-view. We're going to have as usual, the Strong Survivor match is going to start off the event. We're going to have CJ Tino versus Alan Breeze. And then we'll have another pre-show match, I believe. It's going to be Fred Rosser versus Matt Vandegrift. We then have main show matches, the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, along with two mystery partners as of right now, will be going off against the Bullet Club War Dog members of Clark Connors, David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Gato. We then have an NJPW Strong Openweight tag team title match. The champions, the world-class wrecking crew of Jorel Nelson and Royce Isaacs, will be going up against United Empire members Templario and TJP. New Japan Strong Women's Title three-way match. We're going to have the champion, the one and only, the CEO, Mercedes Moné, go up against members of Stardom of Azumi and Mina Shirakawa. We'll then have the NJPW Strong Openweight title match, which has the champion, Tomohiro Ishii, going one-on-one against Strilla Maloney. And then for the main event, we have the Never Openweight title match, which has the champion, Konosuke Takeshita, going one-on-one against El Phantasmo.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's time for HOG House of Glory Pro Wrestling. And we're going to be talking about on the 9th also Raging War, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be on Triller TV. You can catch it. Mayu Yamashita versus Indy Hartwell. For the HOG Crown Jewel title, Zilla Vatu versus Matt Riddle. For the HOG Heavyweight title, Mike Santana versus Cedric Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to J News. Is going to be the second part of CMLL and MLW coming together.
Yep,
for Azteca Lucha.
that's right. This is going to be the second show of their series here. Azteca Lucha 2025 between CMLL and MLW. This will be taking place on the 10th of May. You can watch that for free on YouTube.com. We're gonna have CMLL talents Adventus and Exfinge going up against Guerrero Maya Jr. and Hechicero. Místico is going to go into a three-way match versus Templario and Ikaru Kwan. Satoshi Kojima is going to go one-on-one against Alex Hammerstone. And then we're going to have the MLW World Heavyweight Title match, which is going to see the champion, Matt Riddle, go one-on-one with Donovan Dijak being flanked with Saint Laurent.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And next, something that J News put me on to, and now I'm a little bit more hip because of it. It is Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's, uh, and it showed Northern Rising, ladies and gentlemen, on the 10th. You can find it on Triller TV. I think it's a pay-per-view show, so you have to pay for that with MLP. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jonathan Gresham. We have Serena D versus Mayu Yamashita. Listen, she out here working. Mayu said, I'm going to be here, there, everywhere. MLP Women's Canadian Title Tournament final match. Giselle Shaw versus Kylie Ray. Josh Alexander versus QT Marshall. Mike Bailey versus Gabe Kidd versus Michael Oku. That's going to be a banger. MLP Canadian 20-man gauntlet match. We have PCO Rhino, Johnny Persari, Billy Gunn, Matt Cardona, El Reverso, El Fantasmo, Josh Alexander, Raj Desi, Brent Banks, QT Marshall, Rich Swan, Psycho Mike, Bishop Dreyer, Michael Allen Richard Clark, Rohan Raja, Sheldon Jean, Alex Zane, Bhupinder Gujar, Mo Jabari, all in this match. And last but not least, for the NWA World's Heavyweight Title match, Tom Latimer, sorry, versus Stu Grayson for the title. Ladies and gentlemen, up next is J News. But I'm gonna tell you about the blocks first because I think they might have come out a little wonky. Ladies and gentlemen, New Japan, Best of the Super Junior 32. These are the blocks. In A block, we have Master Wado, Hiromu Takahashi, Kushida, Koze Fujita, Ninja Mac, Robbie X, Francesco Akira, Clark Connors, Kanemaru, and Dragon Dia. In Block B, we have El Desperado, Taguchi, Robbie Eagles, Yo, Kevin Knight, Taiji Ishimori, Teton, Sho, Nick Wayne, and Mao.
All right. So starting next week or next weekend, as of Saturday, May 10th, we start the Best of Super Juniors tournament. We're gonna go into Block A action: Kushida versus Hiromu Takahashi. We then have Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Dragon Dia, also for Block A, and also the last Block A match of the night is going to be Francesco Akira versus Kosei Fujita. Then we go into Block B action. It's going to be Teton versus El Desperado, and then the last Block B match of the night is going to be Sho versus Nick Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my turn because it's WWE time. For those who don't know, I try. Let me put myself on the screen. I try to match the graphic in which it came to. So those who were alarmed when you saw a whole bunch of snakes appear on my channel is because Randy Orton is the Viperist. And so Viper. So I'm the Viperist if you want to be honest. But so that's why he has snakes on the picture. That's why you're about to see some snakes. If you don't like snakes, because they kind of look realistic. I'm not a snake person either, and I had to do it. So just a forewarning to those who might not like snakes. So, ladies and gentlemen, the show that I will be doing a watch along to is Backlash, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, Backlash will be on the next Saturday. Well, yes, next Saturday. On the 10th, I think that's it. WWE United States fatal four-way match. We have Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest. We have Pat McAfee versus Gunther. For the WWE Women's Intercontinental title match, we have Lara Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. And we have the undisputed WWE title match, John Cena versus Randy Orton. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of that. But it's not the end because we have to go to our spotlight. And our spotlight this week is brought to you by J News.
Yeah, folks. So my spotlight for this week is the indelible, legendary Japanese Joshi wrestler Meiko Satomura. Meiko on the 29th of April had her very last in-ring match. She has officially retired from in-ring action in professional wrestling. Meiko Satomura is a woman who has a lot of accolades in Japanese Joshi wrestling, women's wrestling, that is. She's been a champion multiple times throughout her career. Her career started in the mid 90s. Meiko Satomura is a student of the ever elevated and revered ladies of All Japan Women's Wrestling. She was trained by Akira Hokuto and Jaguar Yokota. She is of that breed of women's wrestler from Japan. If you don't know any of those ladies or never watched any of the All Japan Women's Wrestling tapes that are out there from the 80s, that's the early to mid 80s. Watch that stuff. Also, the WWWA stuff from the mid 90s and things of that nature. Those ladies took Japan by storm. They took the wrestling world by storm, really. And Meiko Satomura is of that lineage of women's wrestler. She had a tremendous career, which I believe started in the mid 90s, either 94, 95. She made appearances on WCW Nitro. She made appearances on WWE TV over the years. Most recently, she had a stint where she was working as lead and head trainer and also on-screen talent on NXT UK. Especially specifically for the ladies. She also did some WWE work where she worked on NXT proper here in America. And as of the last, I would say 2.5 years, ever since they WWE decided to get rid of NXT UK, Meiko's made her way back to Japan with her particular promotion in Japan, Sendai Girls, and she's been able to take that promotion off the ground and give the Japanese crowd, and along with folks who subscribe to Wrestle Universe, like I do, we can watch Sendai Girls on I would say, monthly basis of stuff. They put on shows and things of that nature. It's her promotion. She trains those girls there, and she said it herself in her speech after her final match, which she won, by the way, and then was honored. She wants to continue to evolve women's wrestling, not only in Japan, but all over the world, and continue to train the talent of the future. And I hope she continues to do so. Meiko Satomura, also, for those of you guys who might have watched the Netflix movie about Dump Matsumoto, who was also part of that All Japan Women's Wrestling roster. Dump Matsumoto was a big influence on Meiko Satomura, but Meiko made an appearance. She was also trained by Dump, along with other women from All Japan and things of that nature. And it came to light that their training regimen wasn't of the best, but the ladies who were part of those training classes did the best they could, and they did not continue those styles of training and things of that nature, thankfully. So I wanted to mention that for folks who might recognize her or might have heard her name before, probably mentioned in the same circles. But I wanted to spotlight her because she deserves all the flowers in the world. She's one of the most revered women's wrestlers of all time. A lot of the young ladies who grew up in America loving Joshi wrestling, grew up watching Meiko Satomura, and she deserves all the flowers that she gets in the world. She's also one of those people who wasn't ever afraid to mix it up with the men. As per, she's had matches with the likes of Minoru Suzuki in the past, and also Shingo Takagi and things of that nature. So I just wanted to make sure to spotlight her, make sure folks knew who she was, and mention her retirement that just happened this last week, and just know that she's going to continue to put her stamp of approval on the future Joshi wrestling generation and women's wrestlers in general and things of that nature. So, if anything, go out of your way to watch some Sendai girls wrestling. If you have a subscription to Wrestle Universe, and if not, if you can catch clips online, do so as well. But you can definitely see the influence she's had on not just female wrestlers over the world, but male wrestlers alike. So shout out and much praise due to the great Mako Satomura.
Yes, yes, yes. I really love her work. Seen her throughout the years because I love women's wrestling just as much as I love the men wrestling, and I appreciate that she brought a sense of if they can do it, I can do it and do it better. And so I appreciate J News making that his spotlight of the week. Now back to the studio, y'all. Oh wait a minute, we're in the wrong spot. You can't be taking over my pink world, J News. Yes, there we go. There we go. Now I feel comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the time of the day where we talk to J News. He tells us about himself. But first of all, before I put this QR code up, well, I'm gonna put the QR code up first. So J News can be in his bag while y'all we let Chat GPT talk to J News. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, from the ring to the screen to the squat rack, J News got it on lock. He's your go-to guy for top-tier wrestling commentary, blockbuster movie reviews, and fitness that has harder than steel chair. Don't sleep. Go check out J News now.
Well, Chat GPT's always got something to say, don't they? But appreciate that, folks. As per the usual, you see the QR code here to my whatever side of the screen it might be on for you. Some of you the left, some of you the right. It is what it is. Uh, all my different links for the different things that I do are there. The link to my Letterbox account where I do written movie reviews and keep basically a diary or journal of all the movies that I watch um, in movie theaters on there. Specifically, last movie that I watched this Thursday was the new MCU Marvel movie, The Thunderbolts. Definitely recommend the movie, man. It was a fun time. It was something. It was a good change of pace from what Marvel has been doing as of late, and it was definitely a character-driven story that is leading to much bigger things down the line in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I would definitely recommend for you guys to check out Thunderbolts. If anything, that being the latest movie that I did watch in theaters. As well, folks, I'm also on another podcast, a True Heel Heat podcast. I'll be on there tomorrow, as a matter of fact, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing a specific review for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestling Dontaku, the 2 nights of the 3rd and the 4th. And then on Wednesday afternoon, I will be back on True Heel Heat previewing NJPW Resurgence, and also there will be a later drop of a video that SP3 and I will do, basically previewing the blocks for the Best of Super Junior tournament coming up, starting on May 10th. So check me out on True Heel Heat there as well. And as always, folks, check me out here every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the lovely Delores, the Hit the Ropes podcast, as you are currently watching it. Thank you, as always, for your participation in the chat and hitting those likes and subscribing to our channels to keep in tune with what was the week in pro wrestling.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I tell you out every week. He's a good man, Savannah. He a good man. Okay. Make sure you go check out J News over on his channel. Also, make sure you check out the Hit the Bros podcast because we're trying to get up to 100 on Instagram so we can go live on them, and we're also trying to get 100 on Facebook, so we can go live on it. So we, instead of it always being Delores, because we go live on my personal Facebook and other things, that we trying to get that crowd over there to go up, so we can go live. Just make it total Hit the Ropes podcast on every social platform. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my turn, because I'm about to break some hearts, J News. I'm about to break some hearts. Okay. Let me make myself maximize myself, as I call myself a big baddie. Let's just maximize myself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my QR code. And as you all know, J News, we do chat GPT over here. But for me, we do song lyrics. So to go into what I'm saying, is I said I deserve it all. I'll never ask too much credit, seeking validation just for the aesthetics. Itch, I deserve it all. I see you a human first, even when you didn't understand your worth. Itch, I deserve it all. It's innate to mind my business within words, trying to elevate these children. That's why I deserve it all. Pray for those who prayed against me. Every reason my ancestors sent me. Each I deserve it all. It's by Kendrick Lamar, A Man in the Garden. And if you're like, Dolores, why did you choose that song? Because I feel like I deserve it all. And at this moment, starting today, I am going to say I am. First of all, hey, Dolores, I got a sob story for you to tell you. My dog got jumped by 9 other dogs, and I just ain't got the funds that. And I'm look at you and say, well, I ain't got time for you. Okay? I'm not free. I do all I can to help people, and I was free, but a lot of you all chose to kick my back in. Okay? And for that I say, I hope you have the day you deserve. Okay. But as far as me going forward with me and my personal and business structure, I won't be doing that. Sob stories don't work for me all the time no more. I would like to thank 10 Cheryl. I think if I'm pronouncing it wrong, don't just think my brain and heart ain't connected. Is Cheryl Norris and tag the Analytic Gardner. I'm gonna be talking about in a minute something that made me open my eyes to this fact. We had a what you call some people call it sister circle, where women get together. We did it first time this Friday to talk about, get together, J News, work together. And in that I learned that I've been out here just doing all the wrong things, and I need to do better. And my sister in Christ, 10, woke up and said, you are enough. And that was enough for me to wake my eyes up and realize I need to stop this now. J News and them have always been supportive, have always told me to do the right thing and do this, but I have always been stubborn because I felt like I just need to help people. And I am going to help people. I'm going to go back doing more tutorials on the channel, but in-depth tutorials will be outside. And that's something that will be either a course or one-on-one. I work with you, you work with me, we work together. Okay? Um, as far as that goes, this is where I get to talk about all the lovely things I'm involved in, all the lovely things that I do. I will be doing a Backlash pay-per-view review watch along on Saturday. So you come in, we'll play bingo. I've got everything set up, play games, have fun, along with watching Backlash, which will be on Peacock. This is access to everybody. Even if you got the free account, you can watch this on Peacock. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I've been telling y'all for the past few weeks, hey, have you checked out 10? And this is what I'm talking about, a women's closet. Every Friday, 5 p.m., go to 10's website, theeducatednatural.com/products to register women out there to have this conversation. It was very enlightening to me. It opened some eyes, some doors, some everything. I woke up the next day feeling clear and free. Okay? So make sure you join in there because you want to feel that freedom. You want a circle of women to support you, not only just in your business, but just in life. This is the place you will go. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I got my ticket. If you don't know, 10 is doing a intensive mastermind class about business, about your website. Listen, it's no more than she can do. She has dropped the price. Now it's $50. 2 days now, $50. But if you're a part of her membership on YouTube, you get an extra 10 off of there. $40. I mean, listen, all that 10 has taught me, and then she's gonna show you in this class. Listen, that's more than that. Now I told her to charge out about a good 200. But you know what? She said God told her to drop the price and give y'all the greatest chance of ever to learn. Listen, you need to learn what 10 is teaching you. It'll grow your business, it'll grow your life, it'll make you more productive. So also to go and register for it, go to theeducatednatural.com/products and go to the intensive mind flyer that you see right here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I am now. She called me the J News because they can hear you if you talk. She calls me the I'm Emma a moose. A moose. That's how you pronounce it in French. Emma Moose, something like that. Uh, and I manage Miss Joy channel. And in an hour, ladies and gentlemen, you get to have lunch with Miss Joy, and I'll be there too. Okay, Miss Joy will have lunch different times of the week. Have fun, get to talk to her. But then you get to catch me with her tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific for her weekly show where she's building a community quilt. She will be having an auction. We're talking about if we're going to extend the auction past the quilt where people can donate blocks, crocheted, whatever, sublimated, whatever, these block quilts to put on this quilt that will be auctioned off and given to children who don't have or homeless in the California area. Okay. And if this does well, we'll do one on the East Coast, one on West Coast, and just bounce back and forth. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of the Hit the Ropes podcast, as you saw, 10 is going to be live on the 17th and the 18th. On the 18th, the Hit the Ropes podcast will be live at their old time 9 o'clock. It's because your girl can't miss 10. I wish I could do both at the same time. But 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the 18th, you will catch us here at the Hit the Ropes podcast. But any other time, you can catch us at the Hit the Ropes podcast, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here every Sunday, giving you great advice. J News, he can tell you who's the greatest New Japan wrestler. He can tell you about CMLL, AAA. He can give you all of the alls. I am here for the wrestling and the shenanigans. Okay, I'm your go-to for that. So if you want to come learn some wrestling, have some fun, make sure you're here for the Hit the Ropes podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, I'm your girl, Delores, from Delores Designs, and I will be putting out a price list. Just wait for it. Because it ain't going to be today, but it's going to come. And you can reach me here, okay? If your name is not 10, ARD, Ruby, Miss Joy, you should be hitting that phone number in the email, okay? Everybody else, J News, I think he got my real number. Yeah, those are the only people should be hitting my real line. My business hours are 9 to 5 every day. You don't reach me between 9 to 5, leave a message. I'll get back to you. For those who don't know, I'm Dolores. I'm just a pink girl in my pink world here on every social platform. Hi, Instagram. Hi, everybody else. We are here today. We've had a good time, J News. Have you had a good time?
Splendid.
Listen, next time for J News, get out of here. I got about an hour with J News to, eat a salad. Because, J News got me on my health kick now. And shout out to Jay Jordan. Because I know my links ain't dropping today, but shout out to Jay Jordan. He did chair exercises because I've always made this running joke that he does like 100 burpees and he runs in marathons. And I'm like, I can't do none of that. Listen, Jay News, I tried that once or twice and I was out of breath. I was up here like, where my oxygen at? I can't breathe. Listen, I tried to do all that stuff he did. It didn't work. But he did a chair exercise and I tried it and it was really good. And I feel like I worked some stuff out. I worked some stuff out.
That's
I
good.
was like, oh, 10, listen, 10 and Miss Cheryl and Tag, they gave me some good advice, J News. J News been giving me this advice. Everybody's been giving me this advice. Shout out to my mama. She been giving me this advice. I'm just stubborn, okay? But when a group of people get together and you ain't got no choice but to hear it, you understand it's the truth, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, remember Dolores worth 9 to 5 and she got a price, okay? It's what the $1 million man said. Everybody got a price. I do too now. I do too. Mm-hmm. It ain't free. Now, if you come to me and you correct, we can talk about some things. But if you come to me and you ain't talking about no money, you ain't talking about nothing else, we can't talk. Okay? But ladies and gentlemen, 10 clapping in. listen, listen. 10 was on and he was like, oh, you gonna learn this today. And I was like, I got it. I got it. I got it. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, baby boy, baby girl, man, woman, and child, you know what it is. It's getting hot in here, J News. We have set this thing ablaze. Matter of fact, it's over 2 hours. We ain't did that in a long time. We done had a good time. And you know what time it is, J News? It's almost time for me to start putting out a fire. It's burning. You see the light coming across me, J News? I'm on blaze. I don't know what to do. But baby boy, baby girl, oh y'all, I got something for you. If I just cut the lights out. J News, it got cool around here. There was a breeze. I felt it and it felt good. But until then, ladies and gentlemen,